And we're live with episode 49 of the RetroSlot podcast.
Starting out great.
What?
Starting out great.
Like, if I just said, welcome back to the RetroSlot podcast and never mentioned the number, then that's probably what I should do moving forward, right? Like, what are we
I don't know. I
keeping
kind of
track
like
for?
it. I kind of
Why
like it.
does it even matter?
Because posterity, we're getting close to 50.
We are, that's true. The nude episode, I've been told. That's
Oh, no. I did not sign up for this.
You should have read the fine print in the contract, Jay.
Shit. OnlyFans for charity. Markiplier's doing it. I guess we're getting in on it, too.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Y'all like hairy dudes? All right. Perfect.
And we got actually a pretty exciting episode. We got a ton of like really interesting news. A lot of it has to do with analog. So if you hate the analog news, sorry, but man, they have some interesting news. We're going to be talking about Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu for the NES, which I gotta like spoiler. I think is a fantastic game, and I can't wait to talk about it. Jay, what the hell you been up to? You've been on kind of whirlwind tour, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, since the last episode, TwitchCon, fortunately, I didn't get sick. A lot of people got COVID and stuff. Like,
I heard TwitchCon was spine tingling this year.
Yeah, rough. There was an accident that happened so that's news. Um, it was good. It was good to see people that I hadn't seen in years, like I'd been pining for this. Uh, I was taking emergency every morning. It's like, come on, immune system, stay
Yeah.
up, stay up. I didn't get a lot of sleep each night. It's just kind of how I do it at cons. I stay up late. I hang out with as many people as I possibly can. We had a terrible Fogo de Chao dinner that took 4.5 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was like all I can say is there was a server or a cook that got taken out on a stretcher in an ambulance shortly after we got there. There was
That's
uh
okay. That's like, okay, check, please.
we didn't know about it until after. They didn't tell us because we were in the back. Like we had a big group that were in the back.
How did you find out?
The farther because it was like they were trying to explain why the service was so shitty and why we didn't get any food and why like
Yeah.
all this.
The cook just died of food poisoning. Don't be alarmed, though.
half the service crew had only been working there a month or less, and then they didn't have enough gauchos, which is I think that's what they call the people that bring out the skewers and they chop the meat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So like you're supposed to get 15 or 14 different types of meat, The last time we went 3 years ago, it was amazing. It was incredible. Same exact spot. This place we got like 8 out of the 15 meats, and we didn't get the better stuff. Like filet mignon didn't come out, like the ribs, a whole bunch of other stuff hadn't come out.
Oh,
And
lame.
they kept coming over and they're like, "Is everything okay? Can we bring
No,
out
man.
anything?" I'm like,
It is
"Yes,
not
this,
okay.
this, and this." As respectful as possible, right? Like I wasn't a dick, but
Yeah.
it was bad. It took an hour and a half for us to get our checks and get out of there. They told me that there was a group of 6 that left a little early. They told me that none of them paid. I was like, that's not right. And they eventually came back. They're like, oh no, they paid, but then they didn't like pay for any of their drinks. Or I was like, fuck it, here's $60 to cover that. I just want to get out of here. And then I
Wait, you
forgot my
paid for
card.
another group's drinks?
It was like $60. It was.
Were they connected to you in some way?
Yeah, I was the one who like
Oh.
organized the whole group, so I felt responsible. Yeah, and we got out of there. We walked a half mile to go to Hard Rock, and then I realized immediately upon trying to order a drink that I forgot my card back at Fogo de Chao, and they had already closed. So I'm like basically like speed walking back. I call them. Fortunately, they pick up. They're like, "Yeah, we have your card here." But it was like a half an hour of walking there, walking back, and then I was like, "I need a drink."
Yeah.
It was a fun experience with friends because it was like trauma by association, like we're bonding over just shitty
I hear you.
experience.
Yeah.
The servers, they were like really apologetic. They understood that it was a subpar experience and stuff. And I was just like, I'm a little frustrated that we're paying full price plus extra for those drinks that probably got charged twice for subpar service, you know.
It's a weird time we live in, right? Because there's not enough servers to go around for all the restaurants.
Yeah.
But that puts extra strain on the servers that are there
Right.
because all the customers are angry
Yeah.
that they're not getting the service that they remember pre-COVID. So it's just a
Yeah.
fucked up situation in every direction.
I was trying to not be like angry outwards towards the service folk, but
Yeah.
there was a dude that had been brought as a plus one that I didn't know. That was like he was like not having it. He's like, I will burn this place to the ground.
Yeah,
Where's
man,
my
that's the
fucking
energy you
check?
want to bring. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know this guy. It's fine.
Dude, I
Uh,
hate that guy.
yeah,
my
he
One
was
of my
yeah.
best friends growing up, his mother was that guy. Like the
Oh no.
smallest issue at all when you're going out to a restaurant, she would blow the fuck up and then like be cursing out the whole wait staff and then call for a manager. It's like, oh my god, they're definitely spitting on our food now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, that was that experience, but overall, it was a fun TwitchCon. Saw a lot
Yeah.
of people, and then this last weekend was Portland Retro Game Expo, which, for better or for worse, I decided that I wanted it to be an adventure with my son and I.
Oh, nice.
So, 6-year-old, like, just big adventure. He wanted to take the light rail, so we took the train, and we just made it a big adventure. It was like a 5 or 6 hour day. And we got there, and he didn't really care about the vendors. Obviously, he's like, when we're gonna go home? He's like, he's looking for stuff for him. I ended up spending more money on stuff for him than I did for myself.
Hmm.
Um, Found some cool little trinkets and toys and stuffed animals and stuff. It was the first time he ever got to play pinball, which was super fun.
How old is he?
And he's 6,
6.
but I mean, like, when would we have played pinball during COVID and all that stuff? So,
Not gonna
uh,
happen. Where would you
yeah, I
even
got to
find a
play.
pinball machine?
Right, he got to play some arcade machines. He really liked pinball, and he actually killed it. Like, he beats some high scores that, like, adults couldn't get
Oh,
to
really?
and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Um, I did get one game, which I'll talk about. I was gonna go back on Sunday, and I had talked to somebody, and he was showing interest in, like, buying some of my sealed games that I don't really care about. He
Hmm.
never ended up getting back to me. I thought about taking my Mario Brothers to the Heritage Auctions to drop it off, but I was gonna go Sunday and, like, take a bunch of cash and, like, wheel and deal, and I was like, "But I really wanna go spend, like, $1,000 right now? Is that" So I decided not to go. I, like, forced myself not to go Sunday
Yeah.
by myself,
Okay.
but we
Interesting.
still had a good time. There's a lot of stuff there. Lot
It,
of stuff.
are you being careful of what you spend because of like rumors of impending like financial crisis coming up?
Well, things are a little tight right now. It's mostly
Hmm.
recovering from summer. We did some trips over the summer and had to dip into our savings a bit, so that didn't feel good. Just trying to kind of recover on that end. The Twitch stuff, I mean, I've never thought of Twitch as being a forever plan. So,
Sure.
if it implodes, then we'll figure it out and we'll be fine. But it's more just, I don't know, trying to be responsible, I guess,
Yeah.
after the last year or two of how much I've poured into time and money wise into the collection.
Yeah. I just keep hearing about like a recession coming, a recession's coming, a recession's coming. Maybe we're already in a recession. And then like oil prices are going to go back up and all this and all that. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a good time to be saving money, not spending money.
Yeah.
Although I just spent a bazillion dollars on a RTX 4090 and
Oh,
like I am not the model of wise spending habits, that's for sure.
yeah. I
I
mean,
just
I don't know if I told you about the savings bonds that we had
Yes, you
rolled
did.
over
Yeah.
into the education account. That went down 20% already in, like, 2 months.
Oh, really?
So, the government's taking money out of my kids' education fund.
Hmm.
Come on! I'm just
Typical
kidding.
government. Thanks, Obama.
Oh, jeez. No, yeah, we're alright, but I think, probably a little bit of that pressure is hitting us, I think.
Yeah. I also wonder if video game pricing is going to come down a bit
It
now that the
has been.
pandemic
It
is
has been.
over. Yeah. Okay.
Slowly, but it has been for sure.
It would make sense, right? The pandemic is over. People have a little less time to spend obsessing over eBay auctions.
Mhm.
You know,
The really
people are
rare stuff
spending a
is
lot
still
more time
going up.
outside. Yeah,
The really rare stuff is still going up, but the more like the Pokemon and like the N64 games, like Donkey Kong Country, stuff like that is coming down.
that's good.
But anyways, that was a long that was a long story. How was your 2 weeks, Briar?
Pretty good, pretty good. Everything was going pretty well until this morning when I went to the dentist and I found out the last time I was there, I made 2 appointments for one day. I made an appointment to get two cavities filled and, two front teeth too, like right in the
Oh,
front.
good. Past
Um,
Briar fucked present Briar.
right. And while I'm here, I might as well get a teeth cleaning done, right? Hit two birds with one stone. So I was basically like laying in that chair for, I think it was around 3.5 hours. I'm not exactly sure because your mouth is like wide open and you're just so uncomfortable. And I don't know if you get this, but my neck hurts from like pushing my
'Cause you're,
head
like,
back
tense.
against
Yeah, you're
the.
tense.
Yeah, like I just
Yeah.
want to get away from that dentist. It's like I don't know if you have this when you climb a ladder, your toes hurt because you're trying to like grab the ladder with your toes, even though
I
you
just don't
got
go on
shoes
ladders. What do you
on.
mean?
That's a smarter idea.
The
Yeah,
funny
so that was stressful, and then I had a photo shoot today, and that was I don't know. I'm glad to be doing this instead of something else right now. That's
right.
honestly,
I think the worst part for the dentist for me is keeping your mouth open, and then they put, like, the
yeah,
cotton stuff in your mouth to just, like, suck all the moisture out. So you're just sitting there
yeah,
like, "Ah, ah, ah, ah," and then they start asking you questions.
yeah. What the fuck, dude?
"So
Like
how have you been?" "Ah, ah, 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 ah."
my
"Oh,
old
okay, yeah,
dentist
great."
was awesome. He had a TV mounted to the ceiling, so you were
"Oh,
just
okay."
watching, and he would give you the
Oh,
remote too, so you could
dope.
just sit there and watch like whatever you wanted while he was. You're still uncomfortable, but at least you're not like staring at a light bulb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dentist porn, great.
Yeah, but this dude, he wasn't even talking to me. He was talking to his assistant about this awful procedure they had done the day before, where they had pulled like half of some woman's jaw out, and they were describing it in graphic fucking detail.
You're
And I was
like,
just like,
can I go?"
it,
It's exactly
it
what you
was
wanna be hearing in that moment.
unpleasant, unpleasant. But yeah, I get the cavities filled. It's good.
On your
I
front teeth?
Yeah,
How do
my
they
two
do it on
front
your
teeth.
how do they fill cavities on the front teeth?
Well, they bore it out and then they put the goop in there, and then I think it's like a UV activated goop that like hardens it,
They do the yeah.
and then they
But it
kind of
wasn't a
smooth
root
it
canal,
out.
it was just a cavity?
No, just a little cavity, just little
Yeah.
cavities.
I have a root the if you ever notice anybody that's ever seen a picture of me, I have one front tooth that's longer than the other because I
Oh
had a
yeah.
root canal on the shorter one when I was a kid,
Oh
and it yeah, I never got it, like, recapped or anything to be the same size.
oh.
Yeah. I looked
Yeah.
like Lloyd
Dentists are
Christmas
fun.
from Dumb and Dumber. It was straight up, like, at an angle. It was, like, exactly the same. Mhm.
I'm not gonna talk about dentists anymore because I'm sure it's triggering people. Oh god, it's the worst. We got a ton of fucking news though this week,
We do,
and
we
it's
do.
it's big news. I thought too. Like I was like kind of blown away by the news.
Mhm.
Oh, but first, discussion topic.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, Jay, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
I This is a tough one for me.
Really?
First of all, I like vanilla as a base over chocolate or strawberry or anything like
Okay,
that.
you're
Vanilla
wrong.
has more possibilities. Um, I've always been a big fan of, like, Butterfinger
Ooh,
or Heath or Reese's, like, that kinda stuff in ice cream.
you like the Blizzard,
Um,
the Dairy Queen Blizzard?
Heath, Butterfinger, Blizzard is my go-to.
That's good. Yeah, that's good stuff.
And, I mean, I haven't had chocolate chip cookie dough in a while, but that used to be my favorite when I was a kid.
That's a good one.
But I'd say probably if I had to choose one, probably Butterfinger. I mean, Butterfinger just
Butterfinger.
tastes so
So
good with ice
vanilla
cream.
ice cream with Butterfinger crushed up and
Yeah,
mixed in.
yeah.
I
But
also refer to vanilla ice cream as plain. And yes, it's meant to be an insult.
but it's delicious. What do you mean? I was
I
pretty upset actually when Wendy's took the vanilla frosty away. Now it's just
They don't have
strawberry
a
and
vanilla
chocolate.
frosty anymore?
Not right now. I think it's just for a short amount of time. But they
Oh.
basically took all the vanilla frosty and they put strawberry syrup in it and they shook it up, and that's what you got now.
Oh, okay.
It's like strawberry milk almost.
I like chocolate ice cream better than vanilla ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, and my favorite ice cream is probably chocolate ice cream with like peanut butter kind of swirled into it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty good. But I don't actually love ice cream that much. Like it's not my go-to dessert choice, and like I I probably only eat it probably once a year, and that's only because somebody else is eating it, and I just feel like, well, what am I gonna do? Stand here while they're eating ice cream?
Who are you? Like, what
It's
do
just
you eat with like fruit pie or something? Like an
I'd
apple
rather
pie?
just have 2 pieces of fruit pie than a piece of fruit pie and ice cream.
What?
Like if I'm gonna spend the calorie budget on dessert, I'd rather have 2 pieces of apple pie than 1 piece of apple pie and vanilla ice cream,
This
or
is
as I like to call it,
unacceptable.
plain.
This is unacceptable. I need the opinions of like the entire DCP team on this one.
Yeah, well, they're
I
already
need
mad at me because I don't like French fries, so you're gonna get a lot of agreement.
Have you ever tried French fries with vanilla ice cream or a
I
frosty
have,
or
yes, I
something?
have, and that is pretty good. You dip the French fries in a
Yeah,
frosty, but that's like,
it's like fried ice cream almost.
yeah, that's pretty good actually.
The salty, sweet, crunchy. Oh, it's
Yeah,
delicious.
that's fun. Frosties are good, but I don't think they qualify as ice cream.
It's malted milk or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's
The
maybe
vanilla
some
chocolate
dairy in there. Hard to tell.
delicious is what it is. The vanilla chocolate swirl was my favorite just because like I don't know what
Oh
it is
yeah,
about the vanilla with the chocolate together on one spoon.
soft serve.
Well, like the frosty or soft serve
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever, but for some reason that dichotomy of or like that mixture of chocolate with vanilla
yeah,
is way better tasting than just chocolate or vanilla by itself. I don't know why.
yeah. I used
Strange.
to like the soft serve twist, the chocolate and the vanilla twist,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they turn it upside down, a cone upside down, and dip it in like a cherry candy thing, and it'd come
Oh.
out with like a hard
Fruit?
candy shell.
Oh.
Oh, it's
Chocolate
good.
shell, yes. Fruit shell, no thank you.
Oh
I
man,
don't
you don't
like
like the fruit
fruit.
shell? What are you?
Not
Oh,
I mean,
some
I'm
kind of
sure it would
bigot?
be alright, but they have that stuff at Dairy Queen, right? Like the dips?
I think so. I haven't been in years. Last time I was there was after a baseball game I took my kids to.
The blizzards are still the best.
Blizzards are good. They really are.
McFlurries cannot compete, I'm sorry. Like, McFlurries are
Oh,
good in a pinch, but they can't compete.
I've never been to a McDonald's with a McFlurry machine that was working, so I wouldn't know.
Ice cream machines down.
Yeah.
Mm. That's like it's funny. I think there's like a story there too where all the ice cream machines are owned by a company and they like it's an agreement where if something breaks, they have to call that technician for that company to come fix it. It's like not
Oh,
something
really?
that they can fix in house. If I remember correctly, I might be incorrect, but that's why a lot of that stuff they're down because they have to like call the like
I've
it's
heard
like this
something
whole
similar to that effect. Also, that like maintenance and cleaning isn't done very regularly on those machines, as well as the coffee machines at McDonald's, like with the foamy latte kind of stuff.
smile.
Yeah, not good. Not
Foamy
good.
latte, not from the milk,
Oh, there's no
from a
dairy in there.
but sometimes you just want a really sugary iced coffee from McDonald's. I don't know. It's like a dollar,
Everybody keeps
$2.
telling me McDonald's coffee's gotten a lot better. I haven't had one since the
It's
'90s. I don't think, and it was so
it's
fucking foul that I never went back.
it's not the coffee, it's the syrup or the sweet stuff that they put in. I mean, it's delicious, but it's just sugar.
Yeah, sugar turns out tastes great.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine.
News. There's big
News.
news.
Yes. He's as Briar sits back, Jay got the Analog. Analog brought 3 big stories out for anybody who's, like, wanting analog updates and stuff. They don't give us updates all that often. So
No, they don't.
and this was, like, yesterday they announced this, or the day before yesterday. It was, like, within the
Yeah.
last couple of days. So for anybody who has a pocket pre-order, i.e. Briar, and also the person who won the pocket from the, giveaway that we had done for
Yeah.
RetroSlot, got an
That
update.
dude's totally forgotten about that.
I don't remember what country he lives in, but it is not America, and I got an
Oh
updated,
boy.
like, "Your pre-order's coming soon," so they're gonna get a pocket in the mail in the next couple of months and be like, "Oh, yeah!" Uh,
Sweet.
95% of all open pre-orders, groups B and C will ship before the end of 2022, which is this year.
95%, but not 100%.
I'm curious, like, what's the cutoff there? Is there a
I don't
group
know.
D?
I don't know. I
Is
mean, they say
current
groups B and
pre-orders?
C, 95% of open pre-orders B and C. So is there? Yeah, there must be a group D that's not going to
Within
get
the
it.
last
Yeah.
couple of weeks or month or something.
I had to
Um,
go when I read this news. I had to go back and look for my pre-order email that had
you're
my,
probably
and
B.
it's B. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping to finally get this thing because
Christmas.
man, now that they've announced the cores, like the open cores for it, like the utility on this thing has gone through the roof, and I can't wait to
Mhm,
get it.
mhm.
But it's been a long wait.
And, also, second piece of news that I'm mega excited about because I've been waiting for however long since I got my pocket pretty early,
Yeah,
but the cartridge adapters had just they didn't really give us any news on the other ones other than Game Gear.
yeah.
Pre-orders will be available or actually, it's this Friday, the 21st for $99 for all 3 cores or, all 3 adapters, and I actually need to confirm. It's the TurboGrafx PC Engine adapter, the Neo Geo Pocket adapter, and I'm trying to remember what the third one is. Do you remember?
Neo
I'm
Geo
looking right now.
Pocket. No, I don't remember. Was it Game
Atari
Gear?
Lynx.
Atari
Atari
Lynx.
Lynx is the third one. So for $99 for all 3, which is not bad, it's $33 a pop. I mean, obviously, with shipping, you're probably gonna spend $175 because shipping's outrageous. It's probably more like 130, but
I was a
still.
bit disappointed about this one, honestly, because they had announced that these would be sold separately. Like you buy the TurboGrafx version by
Right.
itself for
Yeah.
$30.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a bummer because now if I want the TurboGrafx one, which I do, I have to buy the Atari Lynx and the Neo Geo Pocket, which I don't really care about. That's just plastic that's going to sit on my shelf forever because
My advice,
sell it.
sell the other ones separately on eBay.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it.
So get on
Um,
these early because they
but I
probably
was
will
bummed that
sell
I have
out.
to buy these and I don't care about it. I'd rather just buy the TurboGrafx ones.
Yeah, it is kind of a bummer, but at least they're coming.
Yeah.
And then the third piece of news for anybody who's been waiting because it's been a year or two now, the Super NT and the Mega SG are getting one final run. And when they say final run, Analog doesn't fuck around. They don't
No.
pussyfoot. The only so I'll finish this. Sorry. Next Friday, October 28th for $199, the final run of the Super NT and the Mega SG. They say final run. But my question is, sometimes they'll say final run and then they'll like make an updated version or something later,
They did
years
that with
down
the
the road.
NT, right? The
Right.
Nintendo NT.
So that's the only thing. Like, will they actually stop producing these long run?
My hope is that they are like they're looking at the future and saying, okay, 1080p isn't going to be enough in the future. What we really going to want is 4K, right? 4K output out of these. So like, let's do one final batch of this before we redesign it with like a larger FPGA or something.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
they
hope
would
because
never.
it'd suck if they just stopped selling these things because they're really good. Like
Right.
if you want to play cartridges on modern machines on high def TVs, this is the best way to do it. I mean,
And
the other
200
way is
bucks isn't
to
horrible.
no, it's a great price. I think it's a great price for what the machine is. The other way to do it is much more expensive, which is to buy an original hardware like a original Super Nintendo, which is not expensive, but you got to figure out which is the best version of the Super Nintendo that you're going to use. You really want to find probably a one chip, right? No, you probably want to find a two chip. I don't even know. You got to do your own research on that one because I forgot. I did my research. I got the one I wanted, and I've forgotten. But then you got to figure out a way to like plug that thing into your TV, a modern TV, which is not cheap. You know, like you're looking at probably at least a couple $100 worth of cables and like a RetroTink or something like it gets
Mhm.
complicated quick. The, these analog devices are so easy. You just plug them in HDMI and you can download cores that have like you know NES, Atari, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's a
And
bummer
it
these are
would
going
be
away.
right. It would be real bad business on their part to be like, we're coming out with an updated version in the future. Like they would never do that because then nobody would buy this one. So who
Yeah,
knows? Who
I don't
knows?
know. I hope they come out with an updated version in the future. Like
Right.
I don't want this to be like the last of these ever. Like I'd love to see like a Super NT that has 4K output. I would upgrade for sure.
We don't. Um, Last piece of analog news is more arcade cores coming to the analog pocket as well.
Yeah, sweet.
So I know that Briar's super excited about that. And this is just like I feel like this is just the beginning. At some point, all the cores are going to be available. And my question is, and this is for the pocket, excuse me, specifically
Yeah.
the arcade stuff. Like, is there a limitation to the cores? Like, will there be cores that are not available?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely there will be cores. Like eventually I think with the Mister, the guy who's doing he did CPS 1 and CPS 2, the Street Fighter for the
mhm,
Street Fighter stuff. He's currently working on CPS 3 and he thinks that for the Mister that's probably the limit. The Mister is a lot more powerful than the cores on the pocket, the FPGA on the pocket. So my guess is like somewhere in the mid 90s is going to be the max. You know, but still, like have all that stuff in the palm of your hand, run it natively. That's all. That's amazing. You know, like this thing is awesome. I can't wait to get one.
yeah. Hopefully yours is not one that's like busted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm throwing that out there. He's gonna message me and be like, "You motherfucker,
you
you
cursed
had to
my
say something."
you cursed my pocket. This company, man, like they're so confusing. Like they seem to be allergic to like making like millions of dollars. You know, like why
Yeah,
don't they just like make this stuff and like keep it in stock? Like the Super NT and the Mega SG. Like why would you discontinue that? I don't understand. The NT Mini makes a little more sense because that thing was milled out of like a solid piece of aluminum and it cost $500 at a time where they seem to be transitioning over to these smaller plastic devices like the Super NT. But now I'm completely confused. Maybe they just figure that the Pocket is their future, but they're still planning on making the Turbo Duo, right?
again, no news on that, which you
No
would have thought
news.
with this
Yeah,
update that there'd be some kind of update. But the fact they're coming out with the it's funny, like they're coming out with the adapter for TurboGrafx 16 for the
yeah,
Pocket, but they were supposed to be coming out with a TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine like 2 years ago they announced it, almost
yeah.
to the day.
And they said it was coming out this year, but
Did they?
yeah, I think their website still has it listed for 2022.
Well.
Running out of 2022.
All right. Well, we'll see. I'm excited. I mean, I still love this stuff. I try to be patient, with all the stuff going on, but it's tough. No communication is tough in this day and
Yeah,
age. When companies don't communicate, it's like we're all like, the worst case scenario in our heads, like they're just gonna disappear. It's all gone.
This company makes such awesome stuff, but man, their communication is so bad. Like
Yeah.
and they just move at a snail's pace.
Yeah. Did you see this Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer?
Of course, I saw it.
What'd you think?
Well, the whole first half of the trailer, I was way on board with like the penguins
Oh yeah,
and Bowser looks
Bowser.
amazing. Yeah, he
Mhm.
sounds amazing with Jack Black voicing him. Like I'm way into it. And then Mario, I thought Mario looked pretty good, and
The no ass Mario.
yeah, cakeless Mario. There's no dump in that trunk.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, I thought it looked good. It looked like it looks like a kids movie that might hopefully have like some enough jokes for the adults that we're not
Sure,
bored with it, right?
sure.
I know a lot of people got real upset about Chris Pratt's voice, but in this day and age, I don't know. You want to go like full Italian? It's to me,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know that you really want to do that this day and age. So to me, it kind of actually makes sense that they're gonna choose, something a little less ethnic.
sure, sure.
I don't
I mean,
know.
I'm expecting this to kinda be like a Sonic movie 'cause I enjoyed the
Sure.
Sonic movies, like, they're good and the kids like them. And I think that's kinda where this is gonna go. That's the vibe that I get from this.
Yeah.
But it is fully CGI, so
Yeah. I don't know. I think everything about it looks pretty good to me. Like
yeah,
I know that not. not everybody agrees with that opinion.
There's a lot of speculation for sure. Everybody's
But
like, "It's a me, Mario." It's like he didn't even say it. You can't speculate.
yeah.
Maybe he can pull it off. Who knows?
Also, let's fucking remember this is a kids movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like how bad can it be compared to the Mario Brothers movie we got as kids that
It's
we still
got to be
loved?
better.
We still loved. Like, who
No,
didn't love
sir.
that
Did
movie
not
when it
love that
first came
movie.
out?
That movie
Listen,
was
listen.
garbage.
You were old when it came out. I was a
Damn,
young
Jay.
kid. I was a young kid, and I had hopes and dreams in my eyes until they got ripped away, and I loved it. It was amazing.
Maybe we are experiencing. My kids like the new Star Wars movies, not the new ones, but like the prequels, because they're the Star Wars that they grew up with, right?
Mhm.
But for me, I'm like, that's just a bad movie. It's not a good movie. Like but if you grew up with that, then it's good. Maybe we're experiencing a similar divide. I was old enough to see a bad movie when I saw one, whereas you were young enough to just see Mario on the big screen, and that was good enough.
Yeah. Mario with his brother drunk, I didn't care. I didn't know.
That is a funny. They were shit faced like the entire making of that movie because they knew they were making a bad movie.
Just
Bob
well, and
Hoskins and
yeah,
what's his name?
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, they were both shit house like during the entire making of that movie.
It's a great. I think there's like a documentary on that movie too, or at least
Yeah.
bits and pieces. It's great. I don't know. I loved it.
What'd you think of the trailer? Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it gave me Sonic, not horrifying Sonic vibes, but like good
Yeah.
Sonic vibes,
I was
which,
thinking to myself, man, if Nintendo had a modern console, Mario would look great.
yeah,
Because
right.
like look how good it looks.
It's like going back 2 weeks when we saw the ray tracing Mario 64 or
Yeah.
whatever Super Mario game.
Yeah.
Dope. What do you think, community? Did you like the trailer? Tag us.
Yeah.
All right. I figured you'd enjoy this. You can play Game Boy games on the Steam Deck.
I actually have one of these things and I can't wait to try it.
This is the well, you don't have to have the whatever it's
The
called. What is it called?
Epilogue Game Boy
Epilogue.
Operator. Yeah,
You
so
don't
this
have to
is
have.
you don't? Okay,
I
but
don't
they
think so.
put
I
out
think you can just load ROMs.
software specifically for the Steam Deck, so you can now just plug in your. So the Epilogue is a device that it's just like this little thing, this little dock that sits on your desk and it has a USB out that you can plug Game Boy Advance cartridge, Game Boy Advance, yeah, Game Boy Advance as well, cartridges into, and they had an emulator that would work for your PC, so you could play your games on a PC, or you could use this thing to dump ROMs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it
Backup
works with a
saves and
Steam
stuff.
Deck, which is dope. Like, what a nice little extra feature. Nice.
Plug it in.
Yeah. It's just nerdy enough that I like it. I wanted to try it before the show, and I just didn't have a chance.
Yeah, it looks like you basically just have to hook up the USB to the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
The only thing about the Epilogue, I think the main use for me, if I were to get one, would be, excuse me, to back up save files.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, what's really the use for it? Because it's just loading ROMs,
Yes.
right? It's not
But
like
it's
a
loading your ROM.
FPGA.
And that might not make a difference to you, but it makes a difference to some people.
Sure,
You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure. It's my ROM for my game. That's the same exact ROM as everybody else has.
But it's yours,
Yes.
and it's legal, like
True.
100% legal.
True. True. Yeah.
I think it's a neat little device. It's really cheap too. I think it's like $50 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's $50. Yeah, as long as it holds up, it's definitely solid. And the backup save thing is huge, especially for people with like old Pokemon games or games that the
Yeah.
battery's dying, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. Like that's just cool extra functionality that you can now hook it up to a Steam Deck.
Sure. We talked about Chris Scullion recently, I feel like, and he had come out
That
with the Virtual
dirty.
Boy.
Different
Oh, jeez. Uh, the N64 Encyclopedia has, I think it's available. Is it available for pre-order, or you might be able to just buy it straight up? $40 for the N64. Oh, it's pre-order December 8th. Is when it says it's
guy.
going to
Okay.
be released. And it's the same guy who did like the SNES, the NES. I think he did a Virtual Boy one, or something. But he's done quite a few. They're really good reads. The hardcover books are pretty dope. They're huge. So it's
Oh, he
now
has
available
done
to
quite a
pre-order.
few of them.
Yeah. Felix is like spitting them out. And it
Yeah,
goes over like all the games, and there's quite a few games in the N64 library, like 600 and some odd, I think. Or wait, there's not that many.
that seems like a lot for the N64. I thought it was like, oh, actually, I thought it was like 200 something.
388. My bad. I was
380.
thinking I was thinking NES. NES has 600 something.
NES only has 600 something.
North American licensed games, yes. It's like 660 or 680.
Shit. Okay. God, it seemed like so many when I was a kid.
Yeah, right? A
Like
lot of them are
infinite.
obscure too, like the one we're gonna talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. I love video game books. Like I love these encyclopedias. They're so fun to like page through and like learn about this stuff.
Mhm.
And like if you're not the kind of person who wants to have a shelf full of N64 games, like this is almost as good because you get a lot of what you would out of like looking at the box art and like looking at the covers and like that kind of stuff out of these things. I really like them,
Yes, I agree. I have the NES and the SNES ones.
and
I
they're
might
good.
pick this one up. Yeah.
Cool.
To update, there's 678 North American games plus the 2 championship games, and it says a total of 716 known licensed games. The other 36 were released outside of the US. Yeah. The only reason I knew that is because I've seen documentaries of people, like, trying to hunt the entire collection kinda stuff,
Yeah.
so they usually talk about it.
That's always fascinating because they always come down to like a few like those really expensive,
Right.
super rare games where everybody knows where all the known copies are. So you basically have to negotiate with somebody who has it and knows exactly what it's worth.
Stadium events or something like that.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. Well, I'm
Those
gonna
yeah.
pre-order this because $39.99 for this looks like a good deal, and I actually don't have like a breadth of knowledge about the N64 catalog.
There's some good titles, and there's some really obscure stuff too.
Yeah, and you can get this on
Um,
Amazon.
I own quite a few of the, like, rare sought after ones, but I don't own one of them. I don't own Super Bowling, which is like a 7 or 800 odd game. And I believe that was a Blockbuster only title, as was Sculptor's Cut, which I do own. Um, yeah. The Blockbuster only titles are always interesting to me.
Yeah,
Moving forward, 2 games have an anniversary now or coming up. Mortal Kombat's turning 30 and Mega Man's turning 35.
interesting. Is Mortal Kombat going to get a 30th anniversary collection?
They have not said specifically, but
Not about it.
there's some speculation that there might be some kind of special game in the works.
There has been for like 10 years, though.
True.
I really would like them to release a modern, like, combat collection with 2Ks, to be clear. That has, like, the original arcade games on it, like 1, 2, 3. And then it'd be nice to get, like, some of the weird stuff, like Sub-Zero. What was it called? Like Sub-Zero Adventures?
Oh, the N64 game,
Yeah, like when they started,
Sub-Zero
like, kind of
Chronicles.
Chronicles, something like that. I don't remember. Like some of the weird stuff, and then like some of those 3D games from the early days would be fun to just get in a collection. Like that you could play on the Switch or PS5 or something. It'd be fun to get something like that because there's nothing modern out there that you can like legally play that stuff.
Sure.
You're
It's
kind
called
of really. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's called Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. It's the
Okay.
N64 game. It's also on
It's
PlayStation.
not a good game, but it'd be fun to just go back and like take a look at it, right?
Sure.
Just but it's fun to play. It's still fun to play those original like 3 or 4 games, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Toasty. Sorry.
I mean,
I never successfully got Toasty. Ever.
no,
No. Because you're supposed to like hit select when you see it, right? I was always too slow.
yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if you hit select?
I think you get like a special character or something.
Oh, really? Is it
Yeah.
Noob Saibot?
Might be. I don't know.
I don't know anything about this. I really liked the original Mortal Kombat when it came out on Genesis. I still remember Mortal Monday as if it was yesterday. Me and my friends were waiting to get
Mortal
that game.
Monday?
Mortal Monday game came out on a Monday. They advertised it very very heavily,
Interesting.
and they had a kid run out into the middle of the street and scream out Mortal Kombat, and then they just put the ad up. You know, Mortal Kombat's coming home, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and it was coming out on a Monday, Mortal Monday.
Dope.
Very
I've never
exciting.
heard that term in my life.
Oh well, you should bring more Mortal Mondays into your life.
Yeah, right? I feel like
You just-
every Monday's a Mortal Monday.
that's right. You just should scream it at the top of your lungs every Monday. Mortal Monday.
I feel very mortal on Mondays, yes. The Mega Man collection, Rockman 35th anniversary, there's a shirt that you can buy. I think it's just in Japan though. It's like 45 bucks. Via the Rockman Center, it looks like.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. I don't know if they're coming out with any special games for this either. I feel like it's just
But they've
it's
just recently done like a bunch
yeah,
of
the
collections
collection.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's definitely not a lack of Mega Man collections you can buy.
No, and
But
they're recent for the PS4 and Switch.
yeah.
Like they did the full set of I think all the Mega Mans and the Mega Man X's for the Switch and PS4.
And they are not expensive.
Yeah, right.
Very
It,
cheap, like
it's
bargain
great to
bin titles, which is wild.
perfect. Go pick them up. You know, like you
Yeah.
get to. That's a lot of cool gaming.
10 to 20 bucks. Lots of Mega Man.
I don't think I have. I might go pick them up honestly because I
Yeah.
think it'd be nice to have them in the collection.
Mega Man is one of those games where I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I
Same.
love the style, I love the characters, I love the gameplay, but fuck, they're hard.
They are hard. You basically have to memorize them to beat them.
Yeah.
But it's a great character. It's an iconic character, and they
Yeah.
are fun. They play extremely tight and fun.
Mhm. Did you ever, hear or play the game D?
No, no, I get scared on horror games, Jay. So
Same.
I stay away from them.
I just love the name of the game.
It is good.
D, just the letter D. So it's getting a physical release from Limited Run, going to 3DO and
Ah,
PC.
sweet,
Yeah,
perfect.
physical 3DO game. Just what we need. Do you have a 3DO?
No,
Well,
I'm not
and
getting
that's
one.
that story.
Yeah, no,
You can get it on
this
Steam.
will probably be worth a bunch of money in 20 years, right? This edition of this
I
game,
don't know, maybe the 3DO version. Maybe
maybe. Who knows?
is the current. Let me the 3DO game you can buy complete in box. You can buy brand spanking new sealed for under $100, right? Well, okay, maybe not because that's from 5 years ago. Under 50 bucks for a complete copy on 3DO right now. How much do you think this is going to cost?
More than $50.
I was like, you could just buy the original.
Yeah.
Mm.
Limited Run does this sometimes. Is they re-release a game that is not. They did it with Battletoads like this year, right? Is remember they did a Battletoads NES cart.
Did they?
Yeah, I think the only difference between it and the very common original is that it had green plastic instead of gray plastic on the cartridge.
Okay. I mean, a complete copy of Battletoads is like 150 bucks for NES.
Yeah, but a loose copy,
It's like 20,
yeah,
25. Yeah.
I don't know. They do
That's
this.
weird. Yeah. It's buying a new old game that's the same price or more expensive. It's just yeah, that's a weird thing. But
It's not for me, but hey, if you're into it,
yeah.
it's all you.
I mean,
Have
there
fun.
are limited run collectors that are trying to get like all the limited run stuff. Good luck.
That's true. Some of those are really expensive.
Yes.
I did actually buy one. I bought the NES cartridge of Shadow of the Ninja. Shadow of the Ninja?
Right. Right. But that was cheaper.
That was cheaper.
The Shadow of
And
the Ninja is like a $50, $60 cart.
yeah, so that was kind of nice. And it came with the box and everything.
Mhm. I
But
saw
I
one of
don't expect
those.
it to be collector.
Right. I saw one of those limited run boxes at the Retro Game Expo, and I saw the side because it looked exactly like the NES game. I picked it up. I was like, "Oh, they have a complete copy of Shadow the Ninja Limited Run."
Mm,
I'm gonna put that back because it was
yeah.
like it looked kind of beat up like an old NES game too.
Oh, really?
and they had it priced. It was like $100. I was like, "No." I was like, "No,
Yeah.
thank you." But yeah, I don't have a complete copy of that, so
Yeah, I just bought it because I wanted to play the game on an actual NES.
right, right. I thought this was a cool little picture. So, for those who don't know, the earliest NES games were all just black boxes with the kind of the little geo geometry cutout window type thing of the gameplay and stuff, and it was superimposed on the black box. Apparently, Zelda and Punch Out originally were going to be black box games, and there's a picture from Martin Lindell on Twitter
Shit, look at
of,
that.
like, the earliest concepts of Zelda and Punch-Out with those black boxes, because like, slalom, pro wrestling, and volleyball or did volleyball was volleyball an actual NES game? But anyways, so pro wrestling and slalom for sure were black box games, and that's exactly what they looked like, but, you can see a picture of Zelda, and if you zoom in, he's, like, smiling, which I thought was kinda
Oh,
funny.
look at that. Yeah.
There's a volleyball black box game, I don't own that one yet, um, and
I
so
actually love the Punch-Out cover
it's
with is
Glass
that Glass
Joe or
Joe?
whatever his name
Yeah.
is, yeah,
Which and it's interesting because Mike Tyson's not mentioned on this, so this must have been before the Mike Tyson deal.
right. And I mean, they re-released Punch-Out as a not Mike Tyson version too after that license,
That's right, with Mr.
went away.
Dream.
Yeah, Mr. Dream.
It's interesting they would choose that picture of Glass Joe because that does not say like this is an exciting boxing game to
No, he
me.
looks like
He's just like a frightened dude on the cover.
you think that they have, like, Little Mac on there or something,
Or like
showing
Bald
the
Bull
persona?
or like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Piston Honda, somebody like cool looking.
Even
This
even
dude,
King Hippo might
yeah,
have been
King
in this.
Hippo would have been perfect, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy
Early
looks
concept
terrified.
art.
Yeah. But this is actually fascinating. And the Legend of Zelda one is really neat too because like it's got the bat like kind of like flying out of the screen.
It looks like
Like
they
I'm
took
glad
more
they went
time with
with
the Zelda one.
yeah, I'm glad they went where they went, but it's interesting to see what like the initial
This
cuz I
shows
like those
more.
black boxes.
Yeah,
They're
same.
cool.
I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
I have, like, multiples because there's, like, 11 or 10 different prints of all of them too, so if I find a different print one, then I'll keep that. But this one with Zelda, it shows more of a realistic version of what the game actually looks like as opposed to what was released. Because the one that was released is the gold box with the seal on it or, like, the shield or whatever. Obviously, you can see the game screens on the back of the box, but if you don't have the back of the box, you just see the picture, then you don't really get a sense of what the game is. But everybody knows what Zelda is now,
Yeah.
you
Now,
know?
but at the time it was a pretty revolutionary game. I'd never seen anything like it.
Right.
It was a mind-blowing game. I played it at a friend of my father. He had it and we were like my father was visiting, so like this dude just like set me up with his Nintendo, said here play this, and it was Zelda, and I was like I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Like games I had played so far on the NES included Super Mario Brothers and Excite Bike, and that's it.
Those are fun games.
Those are fun games, but Zelda is like a different fucking kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're just like left alone in the world to explore with like no direction. I immediately went home and like started begging my mother for that game. Like I got it for that Christmas and
You
like
were
just
you a
played it.
teenager at that point?
No, I was just a little kid. I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Wild to think about that because that's how old my son is, 6.
yeah,
It's weird.
I was. Yeah, I was a little tiny
He
kid.
begs us for stuff all the time, so I'm picturing you as that kid now.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, like when I was a kid, you got new games uh, on your birthday and Christmas, and that's it. Like you
Yeah.
didn't nowadays, like all these free to play games and everything. You can a kid nowadays can get a new game anytime they want.
Game
'Cause they're-
Pass. Yeah.
yeah, Game Pass or whatever. But when I was a kid, like you thought long and hard about what you were
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah. Yep.
And if
I
you
do
got a
kinda miss
stinker,
those days.
sucked.
Yeah. But you still played it,
You had to,
because what else are you gonna do?
right? Exactly.
Ooh, actually, I'm really excited to talk about the next, news because the finale, I haven't clicked on the eBay auction yet.
Uh huh.
So, 2 unreleased NES games are on eBay, Napoleon and Battlefields. One of them was actually I'm trying to remember, was it, yeah, don't tell me yet, I haven't clicked on it. So the last I looked, the auction was at about $12,000. This was like a day or two ago, so I'm guessing it went for more than that. So one of the games, if I remember correctly, it was for was it the glove or something? Trying to remember, but unreleased, like never talked about, never. Uh, this doesn't happen. $29,000, basically 28,877. The Video Game History Foundation was trying to get a hold of these. I don't know if they ended up getting it.
Oh, I
Um,
hope so.
so unreleased prototypes with documentation, production boards rescued from a dumpster after the learning company acquired Broderbund in '98 and subsequently discarded most of the historical assets. Good lord, that sucks. Um, and these were WADA certified, so if that means anything. I was gonna say one of the games, yeah, it used. I'm trying to remember what like accessory it used. It might have been the Power Glove or something like that, but it was interesting. So there's not
Cool.
a whole lot known about this game, but what's I
Because
think what a
nobody's
lot of
ever
people
played them, right?
right, what a lot of people are hoping is somebody's gonna get a hold of these and dump the ROMs for people
Yeah.
to play.
Everybody's hoping that.
Right. You often see prototypes of early games, and those are very rare and sought after, but this is a prototype plus unreleased, like never.
And finished.
Yeah,
Like a completed game that's never been released is, I think, even more special, right?
yeah. I mean, obviously, if I had an extra 30 grand, I would love to have these in the collection, but this like one of a kind items are super cool.
Yeah. That is amazing. I do hope that somebody gets these and, um, I don't know, either donates them to the Video Game History Foundation or at least gives them access to dump them and to learn about them and get pictures of all the materials that they came with.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the obviously on eBay, you can't see who actually won, but I'm looking at the bidder information from the person who won.
Yeah.
Um, they it looks like they generally do video game stuff. So
All right. Cool. Well,
let's see.
hopefully we'll hear more about that in the future.
Yeah. So the games are Napoleon and Battlefields.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. There's like no story as to why they were unreleased or anything. So I'm hoping that information comes out.
Well, all the box art of the Napoleon game makes it look like it's some kind of strategy game.
Oh right. Yeah. The box art was like completed, or at least it's like sketched out. Super cool. Probably like an RTS or something.
I mean that's
Actually, there's
cool.
pictures of the back of the box so you can see it and you
Right.
can
Yeah.
read. It literally just finished on eBay. When I put the story up, there was still like a day left. So
Oh, really?
yeah. And the
Dude,
manual
that
pictures and
is
stuff are pretty
really neat.
cool. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, who knows who won this? It could be somebody who just wants to like private it away to their own collection.
and sell it
But
later.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully it'll be somebody who gives access to, a preservation society of some sort. Neat. That's a really cool
Yep.
story.
Yep. Did you hear of any other news? Because
No, that was it. The big
okay,
news that I had found was you'd already put on there is mostly the analog stuff.
okay,
Yeah, and the epilogue.
cool. So game of the week.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. I'm gonna show if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna show the box art.
Look at that dude who doesn't look like Jackie Chan at all.
Still badass though.
What's funny too is that the character sprite totally looks like Jackie Chan. Like in
Oh
the
yeah,
game, it looks like
100%.
Jackie Chan. The box art doesn't look like Jackie Chan. Looks like just some other dude who knows kung fu.
So I was looking for more information on the original Kung Fu, the black box Kung Fu game, because that was supposed to be a Jackie Chan movie tie-in game, but I couldn't like find
Oh,
a
really?
story there. Yeah, so the original Kung Fu black box game was supposed to be Jackie Chan.
Oh,
Um, but it just ended up not going that direction. Also, there's a ton of Jackie Chan games, and most of them are terrible.
have you ever played the arcade fighting games?
No.
They are terrible, but also awesome.
This I think is generally accepted as the best Jackie Chan game ever created.
I I mean, having played it, yes, I would agree. I mean, it's a
There's a
fantastic game. It feels good. It looks good. I also went and played the TurboGrafx 16 version, which apparently is the same game with upgraded
It's
graphics.
harder too, apparently.
It was okay, but it looked stupidly good. Like I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is really showing off the power of the TurboGrafx 16. But the NES version is amazing. I did not end up buying this game because like I went on, it
It's
was
like
like
a
$100. I'm
$70
like,
cart.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know if I really want to. I'll play it, and then after playing it, now I know I want to add it to my collection. I think it's a really special NES game.
I actually saw it at the Portland Retro Game Expo and thought of you, but they were like priced right at market. I was like, nah. Um, so this was released in 1990, so later in the lifespan of the NES. It was from Now Production, uh, and published by Hudson Soft. So Now Production did games like Adventure Island 2 and 3, not the first one, and Yo Noid. So they had a history of
Oh, okay.
solid titles. This
Yo
game
Noid is considered a decent game, right? Isn't it?
it's okay. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the
as far
Domino's
as
pizza tie-in from the
licensed
'90s.
games, yeah. For those who don't know what Jackie Chan is like, what kind of game it is, it felt to me like Ninja Gaiden Light.
It felt to
Like,
me like a cross between Ninja Gaiden and Super Mario Brothers. Like you jump and you
sure, the
run,
the
kind of
platforming
more
and
like
kind of what they look
Mario.
like.
Yeah, yeah. But you also do kung fu. You can punch and you can low kick and you can jump kick. The jump kick in particular is super, like, just feels good.
Yeah.
Everything feels
It
good actually. It's
it
just good.
felt
Good.
like a training game for Ninja Gaiden almost. Ninja
Okay.
Gaiden.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Like, because it was easier, considerably easier,
Yeah.
but the just the way stuff looked and moved and the weapons and the moves that you did and stuff kind of felt that way for me. But
Yeah.
not
Jackie
not necessarily a
Chan.
bad thing. It was more accessible for sure.
The sprites are like super big and colorful too.
Mhm.
It really shows off the power of the NES. Like it feels like a late in the generation game because everything's just so big and colorful and vibrant and it moves fluidly and there's some flicker, but it's an NES. Like
Mhm.
let's not get too harsh on it. Looks great, feels great.
I was hoping to find like some magical story about, interviews about Jackie Chan getting into the game industry and all this stuff, and I couldn't find anything.
No,
Like there was like maybe if you can if you know of any documentaries or interviews or anything about this game, I would love to read them because stuff like this, a game that was very highly reviewed, got 80s and 90s across the board for the most part. Not very many negative things to say about it, other than maybe some of the audio stuff or certain things, but it just like a fun experience, almost like the Kirby's Adventure of platforming fighting games. For me, it was like a more accessible, more enjoyable experience. But the movement was solid, all that stuff, and it's just not a very talked about game. Like, not very many people know about
no,
this game.
yeah, which is sucks because this is a great game.
Yeah,
People
and
should
it's not
definitely want
very
to play this.
not very long. There's only like
Yeah.
what 5 or 6 levels, but the levels are super long. It's still satisfying to beat them. The bosses are easy once you figure out their patterns and stuff, but it's still fun. I don't know.
I
I
didn't beat
enjoyed
the
it.
game, but I did watch a walkthrough, and it was only 30 minutes to get through the game if you know what you're
Yeah, I got to
doing.
like the fourth level
Yeah.
and got stuck, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I thought it was funny. I read through the manual. I was like, is there anything that I'm missing here? In the manual, there's literally the code to get 99 continues in the manual, like the
Wow.
secret up, up, down, down, BA, whatever. It wasn't the exact same as the Konami code, but it was
Yeah.
close. And it was
Really?
in the manual. I thought that was pretty funny. They're like, just put it in the manual. Like,
99 continues. That's gonna let you beat the game pretty easily.
oh, 100%. I noticed too.
That's interesting.
Did you do the jumping levels at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you get to like the third or fourth vertical screen and you fall down, you don't die like Mega Man or something. You just fall down to the next screen below. And
Yeah.
you can continuously do that. I went all the way down back to the beginning basically without dying, and you don't take any damage. You just kind of
No fall
fall and then
damage
you
at
or you
all.
have to go back through, which I thought was really unique. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game where you don't die on a
Yeah.
screen like that.
Hmm.
But then they have the vertical ones where you have like the lava below you as you're going up and stuff.
There are
Um,
some auto-scrolling levels in this, which
yeah.
I don't prefer,
Yeah, they're not my
but the game
favorite.
handles so well that you almost kind of forget that it's auto-scrolling. You just kind of You just hold right and keep jumping.
I did appreciate there was like a vertical auto scroll with lava below you. I
Hmm.
appreciated that it was just literally platforming. They didn't put a bunch of enemies in there to fuck with you
Yeah.
because you have to. There's a good chance that you have to like basically get your sprite off screen above you. And if there was enemies there that you couldn't see, it would be annoying. But there's not. It's just platforming. So I appreciated that. Um,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
I did like I mentioned before, I did check out the TurboGrafx 16 version as well, and the graphics are way better on the TurboGrafx 16 version, but it essentially plays the same. But the level designs are different, and there's different enemies. And one of the things about the level design is that the bonus stages are different. So like on
Mm-hmm.
the NES, the bonus stage will be like it's a side-scrolling auto-scroller level where you get to jump from cloud to cloud, and it scores you on how many clouds you touch. But on the TurboGrafx level, like the screen stays still and the clouds come in, and you got to just jump from cloud to cloud on the same screen, and just like it's really interesting. If you like one of the games, I would imagine that you're gonna like the other game just as much because it's like the same kind of game but with different stuff going on, which is
Mm-hmm.
great. You know, it's like this is almost a perfect scenario for like not a port but like another version on another console because it's just more.
Right. Yeah, I mean the TurboGrafx cart, like cart only, the Hue cart only, it's like over $100.
Yeah.
Complete copies close to 300. So I don't know if I'll ever get a hold of that thing, but it seems like it's quite rare too. The last complete copy that Price Charting has record of was in May, and only 3 copies sold in 2022, 2 in 2021, 4 in 2020. Like, whenever I see that, I'm like, that's a pretty rare game. And even going back 6, 7 years, it's still selling for 200 or 300 bucks.
Oh wow.
So
I just put the TurboGrafx version up so that people can see the difference. But so if you're watching the video version, it's quite a difference in the graphical quality. This is without a doubt, though. This is a game that everybody should check out if you're an NES fan or a TurboGrafx fan. I mean, the punch. So many like kung fu-ish games, especially on the NES. Like the punch doesn't feel very good. The kick, like there'll be like
mhm,
weirdness to it where you don't know how like far away the hitbox goes. It just feels
right.
right. You know, the punch goes far. The animations all feel good. The jump kick is super fun and satisfying to use. Yeah, man, good stuff.
There was there were some enemies that reminded me a lot of Ninja Gaiden, like the birds and the bats and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
the tiger. I don't think there's a tiger in Ninja Gaiden, but the way it attacks you is just like very annoying, like
Right.
Ninja Gaiden enemies.
Yeah. But just I don't know. It was a less frustrating version of that game to me.
Yeah, a lot more charm to it too,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
definitely not as cool.
Big ass head. No, not as
Big
cool.
head, big head. This is the first big head mode.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it looks like he's straight out of NBA Jam. I don't know.
Is that it for Jackie Chan?
Yeah, I was really trying to find like some historian information on this game or interviews. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sad.
It just feels like an under the radar game, right?
Yeah. Hudson Soft generally does decent games too. So
All right. So next episode is our Halloween episode, and we
mhm.
agreed to bring Halloween games to the table, and we kind of like hash it out live on air. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do pickups?
I forgot that we were both gonna bring some games to the table.
That's okay. Don't worry about it because I got 3 to choose from.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I'm gonna let you choose. All right. Okay. So the first one, this was actually suggested by Miss 5000 Watts.
Okay.
It was her
So
suggestion for a
not that one.
retro.
Not that one. Just kidding.
Yeah, not this one. Haunting starring Poltergeist. This
It's
setup
the
for this
Genesis
game.
game.
This is a
Genesis
Genesis
game.
game, and the
Yeah.
setup for this is you play a ghost that haunts the house, and you set traps and try and scare the inhabitants of the house.
Okay.
This one feels the most Halloweeny to me out of all my picks.
Okay.
The next one is Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16. With an alternate pick of Splatterhouse 2 for the Genesis if you don't have a way to play Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16.
Okay.
And my third pick, and actually I can't remember if we've already played this game on the show or not, so maybe I may need a fourth pick, is Ghouls and Ghosts for the Genesis. Did we do Ghouls and Ghosts?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, good.
Uh,
We're starting to have done so many games that I'm forgetting what we've done.
I just realized I have one to bring to the table. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
And it is a very obscure game, and you probably would have never heard about it. Hold on. I just need to make sure it is what I thought. So, uh, Avenging Spirit for the Game Boy.
I have
And you
heard
might
about
be
this
like,
game. Yeah.
you might be like, why? That's like a mobster on the front cover of this game. And this actually, I believe, is getting a re-release. But in the game, you play as a ghost and you go around and I don't know exactly what you do, but you're basically a ghost and you go around and you fight people. But this doesn't it just came to my mind. I was like, you're playing as a ghost, like almost Casper style. There is also like Casper games too for like the SNES.
So I looked up footage of this, and I see a guy playing as a robot. Avenging Ghosts.
Hold on.
Or Avenging Spirit, sorry. Anyhow. Yeah. So what do you think? What should we go with?
Oh, why? Maybe you're right. There's also like Doom.
Doom, I don't
I'm
know if Doom fits the Halloween theme though. It's definitely a scary game. I remember being like very scared when I first played it. But it was more of like a jump scare. Like I've never played a game this realistic before kind of scare. It wasn't
sure.
like Halloween, like witches and pumpkins and that kind of scary.
I'm looking at the haunting. Ooh, the haunting game's an isometric game.
Not into it?
I'm just watching it for a second.
All right.
I definitely, even before I like looked this up, I was like, I'm leaning towards Splatterhouse or what was the other one?
Ghouls and Ghosts?
Ghouls and Ghosts. I mean, it's just that feels appropriate. Ghouls and Ghosts.
Ghouls and Ghosts feels appropriate. Splatterhouse feels appropriate too to me.
I feel like there's also the Friday the 13th, which didn't we play one of the Friday the 13th
Did we
games?
play Friday the 13th?
I feel like we did. Hold on.
Okay. I don't
I have to
remember that.
look it up.
I have to start a spreadsheet of all the games that we've played because I'm like, have we played this game? Have we not?
Maybe we haven't.
Which is great. It's one of the best things about doing this show is that like the games that I've been exposed to from doing this show. All right,
Right.
I think I'm gonna put in a vote for. I don't know, man. I could go any way on this one. Ghouls and Ghosts. I did play. I had when I was a kid. It was one of my first Genesis games, and it is one of my all-time favorite games.
Also
It's
very difficult.
It's yes, but extremely beatable as well.
Do we want to play Ghouls and Ghosts or Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
I could go either way on that. Splatterhouse, I've never really put any time into. I've played with it like in emulators just to kind of trick around with it, and it's fun. But I've never really like put any time into it.
A lot of people love Splatterhouse too, right?
Yeah, very very popular game. I think they came out with a PlayStation 3 remake. PlayStation 2. I think it was PlayStation 3.
Is the first Splatterhouse only on TurboGrafx?
Only on TurboGrafx 16. Splatterhouse 2 and 3 are on the Genesis. I think Splatterhouse 3 is a pretty rare game.
Splatterhouse on Famicom.
They made one for the Famicom?
Famicom.
Wow.
I'm wondering if that's any
But
different.
no NES. They didn't port it to NES.
No.
Interesting.
It looks like an NES game though. They also had the remakes on there's a Splatterhouse homebrew for the NES. I imagine that's the Famicom game that just got ported over.
Okay.
And there's the TurboGrafx 16 game. I don't know, man. This is tough. I feel like we should stay away from that from Ghouls and Ghosts just because we've been doing so much Nintendo. Feel
Okay,
like something obscure. I mean, do we want to do obscure? Ghouls and Ghosts is a very household name, in my
definitely.
opinion.
But it's also a very Halloween game. Let's do Splatterhouse. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay,
Splatterhouse 2.
two.
Because do you have a way to play TurboGrafx games?
I could figure it out.
Okay, let's do Sprout. Let's start at the beginning of the series then. And we'll leave 2 and 3 open for later.
5 years from now.
Someday, I think we may have to modify like the game of the week to be like the series of the week for like stuff
Sure.
like this. Because
Sure.
Splatterhouse, I don't think it's that deep a game that it's going to take you 2 weeks to suss it out. You probably get a full kind of playthrough of, or at least as much playthrough as you want out of your Splatterhouse play
Mhm.
to do all 3 games. You know.
Yeah, I've never played it, so I'm interested.
All right, let's do Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16.
Sweet.
All right.
I
You got any
might also
pickups?
check out Splatterhouse too, just to
Yeah,
see.
just a little
I don't think they're
background
very
knowledge.
cheap
You know.
games.
No, I don't think they are either. I think they're
Splatterhouse 2 is a
popular.
$100 cart. Splatterhouse 3 is a $150 cart. Ooh, ooh. Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16 is like an $80 hue card, about 120 complete. I might be able to pick up Splatterhouse. I wonder if they have it at the retro game store. I have some credit. All right. I have one pickup. Do you have any pickups?
No, I am pickup-less.
Okay, so I got one game, and it's not a very crazy game. I spent $55 on it, plus whatever the ticket for the Retro Game Expo. But I'd been looking for a long time for a solid copy of this, and it is Where in Time is Carmen San Diego for the NES.
Whoa.
So I gotta. It's in really good shape. A lot
Is
of
there
times that
an almanac in there?
there's an encyclopedia in
An
here.
encyclopedia. Oh
So
my
a lot of the
god, look
times,
at that.
when you see this game, this thing is all ripped to hell.
Uh-huh.
So I saw this and it was in good shape. The price was solid. It has the poster
It has a pencil.
and yeah, and a pencil, and it had the manual and the Konami registration card too. This is a Konami game. So it's like fully complete. It's in amazing shape. Game's in great shape.
Wow.
It had a pencil and a piece of note paper in here from
Uh,
whoever.
was
It's got
playing it,
like
trying to suss out where Carmen went.
right. So Where in Time. I don't know. This is one of those weird games. It's not a very good game, but I like obscure stuff. So it has like I don't know if these are codes or what on here.
Yeah, there must be some kind of code.
There's a story there. Like this is an old ass piece of notebook paper.
Yeah, it sure is. That's not
So hold
college
up.
rule.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
That's
Sounds creative.
amazing. What a cool thing. I've never seen that box before. Can you show the
Yeah.
box again?
Yep. I think they also have Where in the World is Carmen San Diego for the NES too, if
Also
I
by
remember
Konami?
correctly. I think so. Yeah. It's literally it
Because
looks exactly the
those were not Konami games on the PC. Those were made by like Broderbund or somebody.
yeah. I'm just looking Carmen San Diego for the NES. I just need to make sure that there is two. No, I guess this is the only one.
Okay.
So I thought for some reason I thought there was Where in the World, but it's Where in Time.
That's amazing. What a cool thing. Because I love that it came with the encyclopedia inside of it.
Mhm.
I wonder. So a lot of in those days, a lot of PC games would come with like its copy protection was basically that you had to have like a booklet of some sort, and at the beginning of the game it would say, okay, turn to page 341, paragraph 4, sentence 2, word 1, and you had to type that word in to be able to play the game. I wonder if there's
Yeah.
anything like that for an NES game. I can't imagine there would be for an NES game, but there's definitely passwords when the
I
kid wrote them
mean,
down.
maybe because there's search stuff. I'm looking at the back. If you look at the little pictures, there's like little. It's almost. Is that what it looked like on the PC?
um I
Maybe
don't
that's why
think
it didn't
so.
get very good reviews. Is because it was basically just a port and a bad experience on the NES without a keyboard.
Maybe that's
New
very
American
interesting.
Desk Encyclopedia retail value $7.99 included with game.
Well, that's handy. I wonder how many of those
Mm.
encyclopedias got used as like reference materials for that kid for the rest of his school career.
Yeah, a lot of times you see these and the encyclopedia is just like missing or
Sure. Yeah, because it probably got like taken out of the box and used to do homework with.
This is definitely one of the better conditioned copies I've seen ever. Because
That's
usually this
a
box is
cool little
hell.
artifact there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was different. I like stuff like that.
Carmen
So that's
San
the only
Diego
pickup I
were
got
fun
from the
games.
Retro Expo.
That's a cool one
That's it.
though.
I was looking at a few other games and like they just weren't in great shape. The price was like right at market. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. I don't know. People weren't willing to budge too much on price on Saturday.
yeah. Wait till Sunday night to budget price.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I was like, but I don't know. I should have gone back. I feel a little bit of FOMO, but at the same time, it feels good not to spend a bunch of money right now. So,
Yeah,
I
I'm with you.
don't know.
All
That's what I
right, I
got.
think that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Next week we'll be doing Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16. So get your Jason masks and your 2x4s and get ready to
Sweet.
splatter some shit against the wall. It's gonna be a 2x4 good time. It's gonna be a banging good time. It's gonna be a splatter good time. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.